Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 2, episode 3.
Episode 2.
Yeah. Whichever one it is. It's the newest one now of Call of the South Wind, which is our regular D&D campaign for Sunday nights on the Two Ferrets Gaming channel. And we are joined tonight by our wonderful DM, Morgana, which I'll have you introduce us.
Hello. Hello.
We also have Summer tonight playing as Merrit.
It's me.
It's me.
It's me, Summer.
And then we've also got Gritz as our residential sorcerer boy and Nixl.
Yep.
Want to say hello?
Did I not say yep? Hello.
Oh, okay. Sorry. It was kind of quiet on my end. All right.
I never know how I cross.
Oh, yeah. It's all good. So, tonight we're going to be testing out a few things. Also, given that we're a little bit of a smaller party tonight, we are using a relatively new VTT to us. I will add it's new to us. It's VTT that's been around for a little while. It's called Owlbear Rodeo, and for those who've been looking for a free to use VTT, something with all sorts of add-ons, like what is it? Like status icons and virtual dice rolling, easy scenes to switch in and out of. I would highly recommend using this one. I did kind of walk Morgana through a couple steps of it, and like the two of us when first using this, we've both taken to this like a fish has taken to water. So if if you're out there and listening and looking for a new VTT to try, give Owlbear Rodeo a shot. All right, so now that I've gotten that promotion out of the way, is there any news you kind of wanted to go over before we got started with things?
Just a couple of things. First of all, for those who have been following over the last couple of weeks, you may notice that we are down a couple of players. 2 players had some scheduling conflicts tonight, perfectly fine, and we had to have 1 player step out. So, for anybody who's following but would like to participate in a Dungeons and Dragons live play, this is the perfect opportunity. All you have to do is look up my my profile on startplaying.games. It'll be under startplaying.games/GM/Morgana-the Spider. There you can see all of the games that I have up and running, including this game and another game called The Wastes of Angelus, which is a powered by the Apocalypse World game. And there will be a few other Dungeons and Dragons games that I plan on running, a few one-shots here and there. Other than that, the only news I have is our recap from last week. Unless anybody else would like to throw in a shameless plug.
Negative.
Yeah, I think I'm all set.
Not today. Maybe
Okay.
I'll shamelessly plug next time.
Oh wait, I should say for those watching, the Sturge that you see in the list of players is the OBS. It was the only way that we could get you guys to see what's actually going on the site. So ignore that. That's just the streamer application.
All right. So what has happened thus far? We have had our group essentially meet up through a combination of, stopping by for baked goods and various shenanigans, leading all of our adventurers to the Stonehearth Bakery. Now, for those of you who are watching and who might be curious, Stonehearth Bakery is a player bastion. It is Fiddah's player bastion, so you'll see how that grows over the course of the campaign. Shortly after everyone has arrived, a trade caravel for the Huron mercantile family ended up colliding with the beach nearby the main city here of Inoras. Once it hit the beach, its powder magazine went up in flames. The side of the ship blew out, and some of the players rushed to try to help those who were affected. Upon reaching the ship, they discovered that the ship had some boarders, a bunch of strange crab-like creatures rummaging through the bottom of the ship in search of something. Well, with the help of a very well-placed fireball from Nixl, followed by a rather quick combat, these strange creatures were vanquished by the group, and the strange object that they were looking for was found. A blood-red pearl that seems to be radiating with heat. And at this point, like, everybody figured out that, well, it's definitely a magic item. Caitlin rushed off to the city to inform her father about the destruction of the family's one of the family's primary trade vessels, leaving the rest of you to decide who you would like to seek out to learn more about this strange orb. And is Sturge still there? Because I saw it disappear.
I accidentally refreshed the page, so I went back to desktop display.
Okay. So yeah.
Nabbed or has laid claim to that stone too.
Yeah, you all kind of rummaged through the wreck for little treasures and such. Which, speaking of, Fiddah, I believe you took stock of all of the coins, or like all of the monetary treasure. If you would like to divvy it out.
Oh, let's see. I think. Forgot what the button was for the push to talk for a second. So, I'm gonna have to open up my character sheet here real quick.
No worries.
Because I think that was the one thing that I forgot to write down from last week. Okay. Characters. Doot. Then inventory. Okay. I believe it was 80 gold that she and Nixl had found. Because I'm down to 130 after putting the 100 gold pieces into the bastion task for the week.
Mm-hmm. I think there was more gold that Caitlin found, and I will double check all of that and send it to you all in between sessions.
Okay.
All right. So at this point, there's not much left in this wreckage, though. Merrit,
Yes.
as you're getting ready to make your way off of the ship, you see something, and you see like the glint of metal in one of the broken crates that kind of catches your eye.
Well, golly gee, I'm going to carefully dig it out.
As you dig it out, you find this absolutely beautiful longsword. The sword itself, when you slide it out of the scabbard, you notice that it has a very distinctive pattern of light and dark steel. Definitely elven steel of very high quality. And even the handle is gilded with gold filigree and a beautiful cross guard. It's unlike any sword that you've seen. It's unlike any sword that you have seen on a normal ass person. This is like high end, like probably meant for like an alderman or maybe a lord.
Oh my, what a little piece of treasure we have here.
Mm-hmm. And then similarly, Fiddah, as you're also about to make your way off of the ship, you notice another small item. And when you fish it out of the rubble, it's a small glass vial shaped in the style of a fairy. And inside, you can see that there's some sort of like dust shimmering around inside of that vial.
Fairy dust? Am I gonna have to clap my hands if I believe?
It very well could be. You can always attempt to identify the object. You can either do so using an Arcana check, or if you have the Identify spell, you can use that.
As a fighter, I don't think I have an identify spell, so I'm going to I'm going to what skill was it again?
An Arcana check.
Arcana. Okay. Oh, good golly jeepers. That is a -1. Okay, I will go ahead and do just that. $17. Very nice.
Nice. Yeah, you do figure out what it is surprisingly quickly. These vials usually only have about one usage, but it is a vial of essentially fairy dust. What it does is it allows a group of people within a certain radius to essentially turn invisible. More specifically, it's called Dust of Disappearance. So I will send you the the stats on that later, but to kind of sum it up for those at home, when you take a utilize action to throw the dust into the air, you and each creature and each creature and object within a 10-foot emanation originating from the person who throws it have the invisible condition for 2d4 minutes. And the dust is consumed when its magic takes effect. Immediately after an affected creature makes an attack roll, deals damage, or casts a spell, the invisibility condition ends for that creature. So definitely something of interest there. And then Nixl,
Yes.
as you're making your way off of the ship, you also notice something shiny.
Ooh, I like shiny.
Yeah. You kind of scrounge for it, and you find a very pretty gemstone. It's a beautiful, beautiful sapphire. And as you find it, if you would like to make a stealth check, you can a stealth or a sleight of hand check. You can see if you can squirrel it away without anybody else noticing.
Okay, stealth checks. It's my mouse. That would be a 23.
Yeah, nobody else notices. That sapphire is yours, and you don't have to share it. All right, so you all managed to make it off of the ship. A whole bunch of civilians are working to kind of put out what's left of the fires. And Caitlin has already returned to you and filled you in on what she had discovered on the ship before taking her leave to go and inform her father of the destruction of family property. Leaving the three of you to decide what you would like to do as far as like determining what this strange pearl is and whatnot.
There would have to be what's the word? Apothecary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that would be Fiddah's first guess on where to take it, because if anyone would know about magic and magical properties, it would be an apothecary.
Doesn't work with headphones.
I'll let you all role play it. I'll let you all role play your conversation.
Oh Lord, roleplay.
It's almost like this is a role-playing game or something.
I know. So as Fitz kind of takes a look back at the ship, she's gonna call slightly to her side, and she'll look at Merrit and Nixl and just say, "Well, what do we think?"
I think that I hope there aren't more of those things. That would be very bad if more is smuggled off the ship or whatever.
Caitlin promised Nixl that special stone if once it's identified, so he's just sticking around till he gets that done. That's all he cares about.
As Fiddah reaches back into her pocket and takes the pearl out, she'll just kind of look it over again. Is it still warm, by the way?
Yes.
Okay. So sorry.
Nixl's fingers are itching. He's peering at it. That little fist clenched underneath his chin. Oh, I want it.
Nixl, what have we learned about having sticky fingers?
Can Nixl do an Arcana check?
Sure.
With a 22. But I want it.
As you're peering at it, Nixl, and almost reflexively, being the kobold that you are, you reach out toward the orb, only to immediately draw your hand back as you feel malice radiating from that orb.
Bad.
But what also strikes you is the fact that the magical energy radiating from this artifact is unlike anything you've encountered before. All sorts of things fall into the sewers. Magical items fall into the sewers all the time. People who are accidentally dropping stuff, or people who aren't very careful when they're sitting on the latrine. And even on occasion, on the occasion that there's a murder or something in the city and a body ends up in the sewers, although usually they're picked clean, you do on occasion come across various magical artifacts, but this is something else.
You need to put that away.
What, this?
Don't touch. Bad. Don't touch.
She does currently have it on a handkerchief just because of how warm it was, and she didn't quite trust it right away. But she's
Nixl put his hands behind his back as soon as he withdrew from it, so that he doesn't accidentally touch it because it's bad.
Fiddah will share a look with Merrit, and she's immediately concerned. The residential grabby hands doesn't want to grab this thing.
Well, maybe they're just listening to you, since you've given them things in the past.
No. It's bad. It do bad things.
All right. So she'll wrap it back up in her handkerchief, put it back in her pocket, and after thinking about it for a bit, she'll say, I think I know someone who I can ask about this. The two of you are willing to join me.
Sure. Yeah.
Sweetbreads?
For you, I'll give you the freshest.
Okay.
Very difficult to convince this kobold of anything, I can tell. Excuse me. So, you all start making your way back to the city, and Nixl, it feels almost weird re-entering the city through one of the above ground gates instead of through the sewer.
And Nixl's gonna hide behind the biggest, baddest of our companions. It used to be Caitlin. I don't know who it is now.
It could easily be. I feel like it's either Fiddah or or the wolf.
Yeah, we're not doing that. Or we'll put Fiddah between Nixl and the wolf.
Or, hear me out, we could have Fiddah put you on Slightly's back.
He looks at you with absolute horror.
So, as you're walking through the city streets, the market is busy, as it always is. But something that tends to stick out about Inoras is the fact that it is a very clean city. It's clear that the High King spares no expense making sure that the capital of his hold, and even more so the capital of the kingdom as a whole, is very well maintained, very clean. There's hardly any mud in the streets, and most of the refuse that you would normally see on city streets is kind of off to the side in the poorer districts of town. But Fiddah, you've made this journey multiple times over, and once you all kind of have wound your way through the city streets, you reach a small door. Merrit, you may have to actually duck to get through the door itself, but once you're inside, it's a very roomy, cozy kind of place. And as you walk into the room, you see potion bottles stacked up on shelves and in displays. You see herbs hanging from the ceilings, and the first thing that strikes you when you walk in is a very deep, earthy smell, like peat. And Fiddah, as you walk through, Slightly does as he always does, and takes a seat at the entrance of the oh goodness. Takes a seat at the entrance where he usually waits for you when you shop here. And you all hear a little scratching noise, like the clawed feet of a lizard kind of scratching up against glass or wood. And then you all see a couple of reptilian eyes poke up over the counter, and that's followed by his voice. Shoot, Fiddah, that you?
You bet your hat it is.
Well, I was wondering when the next time you were going to be coming in here. Do you want your ordinary order?
I don't think so, not today. I've come here for
You
something
sure?
else.
I got some fresh stuff in the back.
Ooh. The second he says fresh stuff, she just kind of pauses and just very slyly peeks. I should probably roll to see how tempted she would be. So she gives the back room just like a very sly peek, but then she'll kind of like shake her head and just like remember herself in the moment and just say, "I'm sorry, but I'm here on a bit of an urgent find, I'm afraid."
Urgent? Since when are you being all urgent?
Well, I'm not sure if you've heard the giant explosion a little while ago, but a ship crashed on the shore and just burst into flames.
Oh, honey, I hear explosions all the time. And this time I thought it was one of my experiments in the back. I was surprised when there wasn't any men.
Now she's gonna like point out the window towards the shoreline and just say, "No, it was just down there."
And you all see coming around the counter to go look out the window, a rather small lizard folk individual with a massive tail kind of like dragging along the ground behind him. Basically, think of a leopard gecko on two legs. And he kind of gets up on tippy toes as best he can, kind of peeking out the window. And just, oh, shoot. Well, I hope nobody was hurt.
Well, unfortunately, there were quite a few people who were hurt after that. But, all the nastiness aside, we may have found something.
He kind of turns and looks at you. Found something, and you brought it here.
Well, I have, 'cause I only know of one expert with these things. There's only one expert I would trust with this.
And he kind of pats his way over to you. All right, well, let's see it then.
She's gonna hand him the entire thing, handkerchief and all. And as she sets it in his hand, she'll say, "Be careful not to touch it."
He kind of pulls the handkerchief carefully over it and kind of blinks a couple of times and goes, "Well, shoot! Most of the time I'm working with alchemical objects. This ain't looking like any sort of ingredient I've ever used. Why is it warm?"
Not sure why it's warm, but according to my friend here, and she'll point to Nixl, she'll say, "There's something about it making it warm."
He kind of thinks for a moment and says, "Well, it's not much I know about any sort of magical things quite like this. My specialty is natural magic." And kind of gestures at all of the herbs and everything, plus a few things besides, and kind of pats his tail. And he says, "But I may know somebody, but you're going to have to keep it on the down low."
She kind of nods to the back room and say, "I think I've worked with you long enough to know what down low means."
Yeah, well, there's a certain place I get most of my specialty ingredients. You'll have a bit of a hard time finding her above ground unless she's attending some sort of soiree or engaging in a bit of a caper. But you ever heard of Lorelei Silent Hand?
Not sure. Have I heard of it?
And Merrit, you recognize that name immediately.
I had a feeling I might.
That is your guild master.
So would Fiddah know the name as well?
No.
So she'll
And
she'll just shake her head. No.
And Larry will give a bit of a smile and he says, "Well, she's got her hands in quite a few pies around this city. If you're coming across magical artifacts that probably should be kept hidden from the rest of public, she'd probably know the most about it. And well, you tell her I sent you. She may even charge you a little less for that bit of information."
So she'll nod to him, and as she reaches for the pearl back, she'll kind of ask, "So about the back rooms, how much for a down payment?"
Oh, you're looking for a down payment, Well, that's rather unusual for you. You sure you don't want to just pick it up and haul it out to the bakery like you usually do?
I might not be heading back to the bakery just yet.
Well, shoot. Well, I'll wrap up a few parcels for you, but we'll consider it an IOU for now.
As she smiles and pockets the pearl once again, she'll nod and she'll add, "It's always a pleasure doing business with you."
Always a pleasure to be doing business. Now, the rest of you, if you're interested, you're welcome to take a look around. I promise you, all of my potions and tinctures, they're the finest quality you'll be able to find this far north.
Nixl's been looking around ever since we walked in here.
There is a whole myriad of potion bottles in here. Some of them have this beautiful red liquid kind of swirling around inside of them, and you even see these like squat, thick jugs that all seem to have like rather unusual names on their labels. You see one that says pumpkin spice. You see another one that says cinnamon apple pie. But all of them have like this clear liquid inside of them. And then, of course, he's got a whole host of spell components for sale, all strictly naturally acquired. So herbs and occasional animal parts. And he kind of looks over to you, Nixl, and says, "See anything you like?"
He darts behind Fiddah.
Shoot, a shy one. Well, I used to be a hatchling once. I know the feeling, but I'll let you know. But I'll let you know I ain't mean you no harm.
She'll kind of turn half her head to Nixl and just give an encouraging nod.
He just pretends he's not there. Like nobody can see him, which is totally stupid, but you know.
While we're talking about items and stuff, Miss Fiddah, do you use a longsword? Because I happen to have this in my possession, and it looks quite special. Could that be of use to you? Or should I see about selling this, perhaps? Or
do you pull the longsword out?
well, I assume it's sheathed, yes?
Yeah.
I'll hand it to her sheathed, so she can check it out should she desire.
She looks it over, not quite taking it, and she does kind of like pat her side where her hand sickle is stored, not necessarily sheathed, since she uses it as like more of a multi-purpose thing, and she goes, "Well, this hasn't steered me wrong just yet. But perhaps we can find some use of it."
Larry kind of blinks and looks closer to it and just says, "Well, hold up there. Unsheath it part of the way."
Yes, I will do that since I'm still holding it.
And he will take a closer look at the maker's mark on. It's close to the hilt of the sword, and he will give a small inward gasp. And he'll just say, "I know that mark. You know, I come from way down south, and well, there was only one blacksmith I'd ever seen who was any good with elven steel quite like that. But haven't heard anything from him in years. In fact,
don't be shy. What is the name of this mysterious craftsman?
well, he kind of scratches at the side of his head, and he goes, "Well, his name was Lenorius, but last I heard, the town he was in that was laid waste."
Oh no, I'm very sorry to hear that.
Yeah, we've been seeing a few refugees come through the city, but you know, if Lenorius has been parted with one of his masterworks, that's a That's a bit concerning to me.
Definitely, I would understand that reaction. She said pretty quickly.
You keep hold of that sword, you hear? Well, don't let anybody else try to take it from you. There's hardly any swords out there that quite match its make.
I did think it was something special, but I'm not really a sword wielder. But yeah, I will take your words to heart.
And Larry will chuckle a little bit and look over at Fiddah and say, "Shoot, I like this one." Now, y'all sure you don't want one of my potions? I got a new one here. I got this new one, cinnamon apple pie. Shoot, you drink enough of it, you'll go blind in one eye.
That doesn't sound like a good thing.
Yeah, Nixl looks at him with puzzlement. Like, why would one want that?
Fitz looks very interested.
Fids, you know that this is one of Larry's signature moonshines.
Yes.
And he'll just be like, and shoot, since y'all came in with Fids here, you can part with it for just a couple of silver.
I think I will sadly decline, as tempting as that may be.
Shoot, your loss.
Assuredly.
And then he's going to pat his tail again and look at Fids and just say, I'm working on the next one right now. Thinking pineapple mango.
Oh. You certainly know a way to a girl's heart.
And he chuckles and says, well, I'll send a message out to your bakery once I got it done. It's still marinating. He slaps his tail one more time.
She'll nod to, like, is there like something that's like close to like a mason jar somewhere in view?
All of the moonshines are in mason jars, unless you're looking for an empty one.
Oh no, she's just like looking for whichever one he's offering. And she'll just kind of point to it and say, add one to the order. I'd like to taste it first.
Shoot. And he happily takes the moonshine, the jar of moonshine off of the shelf, brings it over to the front counter, and whips out a little copper shot glass and pours a small amount of it into the shot glass, and you all can see like the vapors of the alcohol just rising up off of the off of it, and he slides it over to you and says, I think I outdid myself this time.
So even though it's like little shot glass, she's gonna sip it dainty like a lady.
Go ahead and give me a Constitution check.
All right. So Constitution checks.
Or a Constitution saving throw, rather.
Okay, so... Ooh, boy. Okay. Let's see here. 23.
It goes down smooth.
She'll savor it a little bit. Maybe give a little hiccup and say, "You outdid yourself."
I do like my work. So what do you think? Bart, what do you think? You leaving with one of my jars here?
I can think of a few things to bake this into.
Shoot. 2 silver.
She'll take out 1 gold piece, set it on the counter.
Shoot, you're laying down a down payment already.
I'll be back to browse your wares later.
Well, I'll be waiting.
Okay. Just marking it down on my notes. There we go.
All right. So, as you all step back into the bustle of the city, you already have one lead, that being Lorelei Silent Hand. But are there any other places you would like to go before you seek her out?
I think we should check in with your bakery, and if we're going to seek her out anyway, I think I was on an errand to get some bread from said bakery that I seem to have neglected to get it in all the hustle and bustle.
Fiddah let out a very colorful swear. and and she'll add, oh, shit, I know I'm forgetting something. Hold on. And she'll step off to the side and she'll pull out a sending stone from her opposite pocket and get in contact with I believe it would be Fern who would have the other one.
Okay, so the way that a sending stone works, you can send a message, and Fern will pick it up. Like Fern will pick up on the message that you send.
Okay, so as far as the order goes, I think she would have it under a name. Would there be like a particular name that the guild would use for said order?
Yes, actually. The guild often places orders with you on the down low. They're some of your best customers for some of your more special goods. And they almost always use the alias of Silver Jewelers.
Okay. And is there a set message length that this can be?
I believe so. Making me break the book back out. So it's basically you're casting sending from it. Let's see here. The stone won't be able to be used again for the rest of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm breaking out the other book. All right, so it's a short message of 25 words or fewer. Fern will hear it in their mind, and will know that it's you.
Okay. And I already forgot the alias name.
Silver Jewelers.
Silver Jewelers. Okay. Silver Jewelers. Okay, so she'll pull out the sending stone and then stop and think about it and turn to Merrit and say, Where should we have the order dropped off?
Well, in my hand, probably. I don't think we can just send it to a secret location. That would make it not so secure. It would make it not a secret.
That's fair. What if we were to have it brought here? And she'll point to the apothecary, essentially front doorstep.
Sure. That's totally fine with me.
Okay.
Definitely a short length to travel for us.
Of course. She'll turn back to the sending stone and say, Fern, deliver the order for the silver jewelers to the apothecary and wait for the next delivery from him.
And in the back of your mind, you can hear them reply, all right, I'll make sure that it's started.
Perfect. All right. Just gonna mark that the sending stone has been used.
Who's the him? Or was that all in your mind? Did I not hear you think that? Or did you say that out loud?
I think it would have been all in my mind.
Okay. Retraction.
But the him is the apothecary store owner whose name I totally didn't forget. I'm just testing you.
Larry.
Thank you. Okay, so since we probably shouldn't go to see the Silent Hand just yet, so she'll say, so while we're waiting, do you think anyone would know about the things we fought on the ship?
I don't know. That's definitely a good question. Maybe we could draw a picture, or did the body's just kind of dissolved, right? So there's not we can't even show anybody. Did they dissolve? Am I remembering that incorrectly?
No, they did not dissolve.
Oh, okay. So maybe we could bring someone to show them, and get some opinions. It seems like the time frame was a little weird.
Why would the ship crash today? I'm sorry, go ahead.
So you all know of a few different places in town that may have somebody that may have somebody who might know, and basically you've got there's prawns, ponds, and pickles, like a little general store / pawn shop in town. And there's also for those who are particularly magically inclined, Merrit, you've stolen from Terry's Tomes and Tricks a couple of times.
Classic.
And yeah, and Fids, on the occasions where you needed to represent the family business, you have gone to Taylor the Tailor's Tailor Shop, which is staffed by a vampire that you have come to know is often very well informed about the talk of the town. And Nixl.
Yes.
You know of somebody in the sewers who might be able to divulge some information, because they tend to like most things that are fishy, though you also know that they're a bit of a pain to deal with because it's none other than the Rat King of Inoras.
Oh, I don't like him.
So you all kind of know of different places that you could possibly go to and chat with people about.
Out of character, I'm not sure how. I mean, granted, he is a vampire, so he's most likely been around for a while, but she's not gonna be quick to bring him up just yet, since she's not really sure how much he would know about this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, are we talking about the Rat King? Is the Rat King a vampire? Or are we talking about like a rat with a bunch of like tails and a nut?
No, Taylor the tailor at Taylor's Tailor Shop.
Oh, okay. I'm like, what's going on? There's lore.
Yeah, Taylor the tailor at Taylor's Tailor Shop. He tends to know a lot of the town gossip because people talk while they're getting fitted for clothes.
I guess that makes sense. To be expected.
Okay.
Well, I'm certainly not going to recommend the Rat King right off the bat.
So, once the sending stone is done, she'll look to Merrit and Nixl and say, "Any ideas?"
About which problem?
Where do we start? Perhaps, should we divide and conquer?
Fritzl would probably just take off.
That's it. Campaign over. We all go our separate ways.
Yeah.
That's it. It was short but fun. Good luck, everybody. Hope those crab things don't come back.
The wolf, slightly kind of, you all notice him kind of give a soft whimper, as he's kind of looking at, almost like a procession that's being made toward town. People are being moved to either side of the street as stretcher after stretcher of bodies from the ship are being brought through the city and uh, being brought on their way toward the northeastern part of the city, which most of you, well, all of you would know, is the location of the graveyard and the Undertaker.
Well, that tracks. There's a bunch of bodies.
Yeah. She'll pat his little furry body and kind of watch the procession for a bit. Let's see. No, he might.
Nixl's going to point where you stuck the pearl and just say, "You need to get rid of that."
Well, while we're waiting for that one, Perhaps we can visit Taylor. See if he knows anything of the ship.
Didn't your paladin friend know about the ship? Wasn't it one of theirs?
It was, but people down here tend to talk differently from people up there.
I mean, I have the book from the cookbook that's not about cooking at all, but I do have a book about from the guy on the ship. And I think there was a captain's log, right? Didn't one of us find that?
Yeah, Caitlin had found the captain's log, and she brought it with her to show to her father.
So the crab people are like a mystery. That would the Undertaker like be able to recognize those wounds, or is that too out there probably for this town?
Well, the wounds would have been caused by the weird things.
Right. Maybe they could identify them if they recognize that. Offhand, maybe not. It's fine.
It's possible.
Are we really going to question an Undertaker about this, though? Because he's got, like, all sorts of work ahead of him now.
Yeah, but the thing about being an Undertaker, it's not really like a time frame. They're not getting more dead, right? They're already dead.
Start to rot.
Yeah, they're going in the ground soon enough. But I mean, if you think a tailor knows more about like attacking crab people, that I mean, I'm down.
Well, not
We
necessarily.
have time to kill. I'm
Not.
good to hearing the hot gossip, the hot goss of the town and the city, heartbeat of our lives.
Well, maybe not, like, necessarily the crab people, but, like, more about what people were saying about the ship's disappearance.
Wasn't that some time ago that the ship went missing, though? Would those same people be around? Well, maybe, I guess.
Several months, you would still have an out of character. You would still have, because Nixl probably wouldn't know, merchants that were expecting
Was it
trade
months?
from that ship, and they would still be around.
I think my confusion is I thought it was like years or something the ship has been missing.
No,
No,
it's been
months.
it's several months. It's several months late, and now it's blown up.
Perhaps Taylor was expecting a delivery as well.
Well, let's go. Lead on.
So Fids will go ahead and lead the group to Taylor's shop.
What a motley group it is.
The Motley Crew.
All right. So before we hop over into the tailor's shop, it is currently 11:26 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This would be a good time for our our usual 20-minute break. See, with the power of editing, that 20-minute break was condensed into the blink of an eye.
Most powerful.
It is a very powerful thing. So, where all have you all decided to go for continuing to investigate this this blood red pearl?
I don't think we have.
Yeah, we're kind of waiting on the shipment so that we can get to Lorelei's. So we're gonna go to
Yeah.
Taylor the Tailor's Tailor Shop first. I had to think about that one.
All right, going to Taylor the Tailor's Tailor Shop.
Yes, we're gonna get like basic gossip on the ship's disappearance overall.
All right. So you all make your way to Taylor the Tailor's Tailor Shop. And sure enough, there's a sign right outside the door that says Taylor the Tailor's Tailor Shop. And Fiddah, you've spent the most time here in the past, namely for like the occasions where you need to represent the business, Chamber of Commerce and whatnot. So when you all get here, it's a nice, like, cozy, a nice cozy little shop. Rugs set on the floor so that if you're trying on clothing, you don't have to worry about your footsies being cold. I should give you all control of your tokens. And you even see like when you enter grand piano. And when you all first enter the building, the piano is playing itself. A nice, lovely tune from a famous composer in Sithakal. And Fiddah, I assume you're leading everybody into the.
Yeah, she would kind of lead everybody in and just kind of like stand off to the side.
You see, when you come in, this gentleman turn around and he's wearing some of the nicest clothing you've ever seen. It's very form-fitting, a nice swooshy overcoat. He's got a nice little walking stick, and when you all walk in, he gives you a big smile, fangs glinting in the fire in the firelight and everything. And
Did you say fangs?
fangs.
Okie dokie, just check.
He is clearly not hiding the fact that he is a vampire. And as you walk, I'll walk in. He kind of holds your gaze for just a bit, as if taking your measure.
I didn't go where he could see me. I slipped right into the corner there.
He looks over Fiddah and Merrit, taking their measure, and then says, "Oh my God, I am so glad you all decided to come in. Fitz, it was Fitz, right?"
she'll give him an easygoing grin and say, "Yes, sir."
Oh my God. You would not believe what happened at the last Chamber of Commerce. Were you there?
Oh no, I was held up at the bakery for that one. What happened?
Well, far be it from me to divulge secrets. Okay, never mind. You've to me. So Lord Denarian ended up tripping on his wife's gown and spilling a whole tankard of punch just all over her fresh white gown. I am so glad that wasn't one of my pieces. It was, in my opinion, it was a little tacky, but beggars can't be choosers.
Of course they certainly can't.
But what brings you here? The next Chamber of Commerce isn't until like 2 months from now.
We're here for other news. And she'll kind of rest her elbows on the counter, leaning in as if she's about to ask for some nice gossip.
and he seems to light up. He reaches underneath the counter and pulls out a silver tray with like four cups for like four teacups on it, sets it on the counter, snaps his finger, and over the fireplace you can see that he's already got like a kettle. The fire kind of roars to life a little bit to get some water boiling, and he just goes, "Oh yes, I love tea. What do you have for me?"
I was wondering, well, say there was a ship that had gone missing months prior. Do you happen to know anything about that?
Oh, yeah, actually, there were several different merchants that came through here. Most of them have like connections with Huron Mercantile. Um, I was even waiting on a shipment, but it never came. But well, after a few centuries, you just learn not to put all of your eggs in one basket. So I had a backup order that I had on a different ship, just in case the first ship didn't make it, which it of course never did. Like it was supposed to be here months ago, like maybe like 5 or 6 months ago.
Yes, that's certainly odd for a ship to be missing that long. Well,
Well, and especially from from the Huron family,
of
they
course.
take pride in like how all of their ships are like clockwork. Like we're talking on the dot.
Is there any chance that anyone else might have been talking about the disappearance?
Well, I mean, it was all the buzz for a lot of the more mercantile individuals throughout the city. Like obviously, I was affected by it, but there were also a few others. I mean, I remember Gertrude was waiting on some fabrics as well. You know, all of those fun little sheets that they drape over the bodies. Yeah, but and then kind of reaches underneath the table again, pulls out a scroll and unrolls it, and like runs a finger down. Oh, oh yeah, and then also there was a shipment uh, of spices that little lizard man had placed an order for that never showed up. Um, I can I think it was Larry. I don't know. Every time he walks in here, he kind of leaves like a trail of just the worst smelling liquid on the floor.
So, what? Um, she'll ignore the comment about Larry and just say, "Oh yes, it certainly affected a lot of people expecting shipments. I'm fairly certain I had one incoming as well. Were there anyone outside of the mercantiles, perhaps, talking about this?"
And he kind of thinks for a moment and says, "Well, now that you mention it, um, there was this one lady who came in here. She was looking for a really nice ball gown, a really beautiful thing. It has lace and oh my goodness, you should have seen the color scheme. Let me tell you, she knows exactly what's in vogue. Everything this year is about golds and reds. But anyway, um, she came in and she was mentioning that she was also waiting on a shipment, but she never really leaves her name for me. She always just pays for whatever garment she wants to get and then leaves.
Hmm. Certainly you would recognize the face, though.
Well, of course. Um, Well, she kind of never made much eye contact, which, I mean, you run into that occasionally when you're a vampire. There are always some people who are a little skeptical about an undead, but I don't bite anyone unless they really ask for it, or if we're having a lot of fun. But anyway, she did pay under the name of a company, though. And he pulls out a book, uh, all of his transactions over the last 2 years, and is kind of scrolling through, flips a couple of pages and goes, "Oh, there it is, Silver Jewelers," which is kind of odd because I've been to all of the jewelry stores in town, and I have never seen a Silver Jewelers anywhere. And isn't that kind of a tacky name, though? Like, of course a jeweler is going to have silver.
Of course, unless it's a family name. You never know.
Well, if it were me, I would totally change my name if my name were Silver.
Of course, you can't have a vampire be named after silver. That's just, ooh, bad form.
Exactly. Exactly. You need to have like something that rolls off the tongue. Like Taylor the Tailor's tailor shop. Like everybody's gonna remember that.
Fitz will kind of sneak a look to Merrit, as in, like, did you want to contribute to this?
Merritt kind of raises an eyebrow, kind of curious why you haven't actually told them that that the ship is here. I mean, they're gonna find out later today, probably. Sooner rather than later. Most likely they'll find out the ship was here.
Yeah,
She'll kind of waggle her eyebrows, like, should we mention that the ship is here, or skedaddle before that becomes apparent?
Like, how long would be an appropriate time to have, like, all the bodies cleared out before we start spreading around to the shops, like, hey, your deliveries are here, come get them.
Unfortunately, having been to the wreckage, you know that most of it's actually been destroyed. Between the actions of the creatures on the ship, the explosion, and Nixl's fireball, most of what was in the cargo hold that would have been sold to various merchants throughout town was absolutely destroyed.
So maybe you wouldn't want to give them bad news. Maybe that's
Yeah.
Maybe that's what's happening.
Yeah, that would probably be for the best.
Meanwhile, Nixl,
Yes.
I saw you sneaking through. Go ahead and give me a stealth check at advantage, because Fiddah's got Terry spilling the tea, or like Fiddah's got Terry or Taylor getting distracted with all of the gossip. So you've got a bit of
dirty 20.
all right. Yeah, you managed to slip back into the fitting room with no issue. What are you up to back there?
Oh, I'm sneaking and looking for things to.
You see on that little on that little boudoir a very beautiful ornate pincushion. And when you run your claw along the fabric cushion, you can tell that it is high-end silk.
It's going in my inner pocket. I have lots of pockets.
I would expect nothing less.
Yeah, I'll continue slipping around, but now it's going to get more difficult.
So Taylor kind of looks towards you again, Fiddah, and just says, "So, like, I'm kind of surprised that you're interested in this ship because, like, don't you locally source all of your grain?"
Well, there may have been spice here and there that I've been curious in. Some that can't be grown around here, of course.
Well, I suppose that's fair. I mean, well, maybe, maybe I can put in a good word for you. Like, there is this really cute, there's like this really cute guy over at Cardamom's mom's shop. Like, I know that technically he's a florist, but he has amazing selections of spices every so often. And last I heard, he was into dwarves.
You don't say.
Oh yeah, like like you should see him every now and then when when a dwarven family comes through. Oh, and I think I think I've seen him. I think I've seen him a few times with your sibling Fern. Um, like really, he really lights up every time they walk into his shop.
Well, now she's grinning like an older sibling would when she finds something out about a younger sibling. She leans in, very interested, and she goes, I don't say. Well, are we dwarves going to have some competition with you now?
Of course not. But I will say that if Fern ends up deciding to like maybe court him, um, well, I'll make sure to make the perfect outfit for them.
Naturally, naturally. She'll kind of look at the tea kettle on the stove or in the fireplace.
And over there, you can see Nixl kind of crouched behind that wardrobe between the wardrobe and the fireplace. And Nixl, where you're currently standing, there's like the whole selection of like pokers and such for the fireplace, and also a little bin full of very shiny buttons.
Button.
Why, Fern? Why not yourself?
I'll try and pick out some really pretty shiny buttons.
I do have some very particular tastes. She kind of glances at Taylor and looks down.
I see.
He kind of grins knowingly and just taps the side of his nose.
All that aside,
And then he'll snap his fingers and Nixl, over where you're at, the tea kettle comes flying out of the fireplace and is kind of hovering over the teacups, and he reaches underneath, pulls out a little tea box and opens it up and says, "I'll let you go ahead and have your choice."
Fitz will just pick one at random. More invested in the talk and everything, and she will say, about that ship, unfortunately, it did break ground today, and then it broke.
Oh, you don't say.
I-
Oh, well, that's going to be the talk of the town later.
Well, if the funeral procession certainly won't be the talk of the town, the ship certainly will be.
Oh my, Gertrude's going to have her work cut out for her.
Does Gertrude work at the mortuary?
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. Now, see,
And he'll offer some tea for Merrit as well.
Merrit will like fiddly pick through to find something that looks like as expensive as possible that she doesn't have as often. As
They
she
are
would like.
all expensive teas.
Ooh. And she'll get the one that looks the most unusual.
Yeah, you pull a Sithicales tea. That the moment you have the water pour over the bag, you are met with the smell, with the combined smell of like cinnamon and cloves and nutmeg, along with a nice like deep black tea flavor alongside with it.
Nice, very nice.
Fiddah, you ended up pulling Earl Grey.
Of course.
All right. I need a sleight of hand check from Nixl.
Ooh, not as good. Oh, not bad. Try one.
Nice.
I'm on a roll.
You make off with seven like really pretty silver buttons.
He's having a good day. Buttons, pin cushions. All right. It's going to be trickier. He's going to have to wait till he's really distracted.
And then I'll say, well, Gertrude's definitely going to have her work cut out.
Such a shame, too. See, my friend and I, and Fiddah will point out Merrit, and she'll say, the two of us, as well as another couple, we happened to be on board that ship, and the things that were there.
Oh, do tell.
They're like people with crabby type features.
Oh, really? And he'll kind of like lean in, elbows on the chin, on the back of one of his hands. Just do tell me more.
Ferret will make the crabby grab gesture that she assumes that she saw while she was on the ship. They were pretty up for a battle. I'll say that much. And
Goodness, well, like that totally sounds to me almost like sea devils.
sea devils. Any relation to actual devils?
Well, no, that's mostly what people like to call them because, like, they can sometimes raid coastal towns. But honestly, ever since the current High King took power, he's made sure that all of the coastal towns have been really well fortified. There hasn't been an attack by sea devils in maybe a good 30 years.
Oh wow. Do you happen to have a picture of what those fellows look like, or could you draw them up?
Oh, good heavens, no! Most of the books that I have here are patterns and the occasional and he kind of grins and winks toward Fiddah. A few books from Terry's.
And she just kind of grins knowingly.
Merrit, if you'd like to give an insight for that, you are more than welcome to.
No, that I feel like it's fine. She's just gonna assume that's a dirty book or something, and she's like, "Oh, that's too bad that you don't have a picture." But I mean, that does make sense that you wouldn't. I just wanted to compare to see if that, but that is a good hint to what this creature is that we fought. Are they like good fighters enough that they would take down a ship of people?
Well, like they would really have to be coordinated if they were to do that, or like have a really good target. Like, well, I guess I had ordered some silks, so I suppose that some of my silks might be on there, and that might be worth raiding a ship for. But like, usually they just stick to the coastal towns. For them to attack a ship, that's really weird.
Yes, I could see that. Mysterious.
Unless there was something they wanted on the ship.
Well, last I checked, sea devils were not my kind of clientele. They
I
have
don't see why they
horrible fashion sense.
would be. And they're awful crabby too. Just kind of finger guns.
He kind of chuckles. Nixl.
Yes.
So you're over there, by that little table that he has, and you've managed to make your way all the way around without.
Well, he darted when he leaned over to listen to the gossips.
Yeah. So, are you rummaging through the drawers or just seeing what's on top?
If he's really distracted and getting the juiciest gossip, just kind of open a drawer and look in to see if there's anything easily snatchable.
You see a couple of glass vials with this red liquid inside of them, and that red liquid seems to shimmer just a little bit.
Sweet. Yeah, it's going in the pocket.
How many of them are you going to take?
How many are there?
There are 7 in there.
Oh, don't think I'd get all 7. We'll go for 2.
Okay.
2 hands.
Yeah, you managed to slip a couple of vials into your pocket.
Cool.
A couple of unknown potions.
Would Fiddah see this as she's talking to him?
Nixl, you're gonna need to make a sleight of hand check against Fiddah's passive perception.
Oh God.
21.
Hold on, looking it up. Oh God. Yeah, that.
I'm pretty sure it's not 21.
Yeah, it's not even close.
Merrit.
This is to make up for yesterday when I was playing in a game that was like literally, well, not literally because it wasn't my life, but life and death. And I couldn't roll shit and got blown up by a fireball. Survived, but got blown up by a fireball.
Remind me later, or remind me session to tell you about a character who blew up in last night's Monster of the Week game.
Oh yeah.
I bet was as fabulous as Sparky.
Sparks, like all of your Sparky characters, always go out with a bang.
No pun. Yeah.
But yeah, you managed to slip a couple of vials in your pocket. I assume it succeeds against Merrit's passive as well.
I didn't think to check. Hold on, let me see. Merrit's passive perception. Yeah, I have an 18 passive perception.
Yep. Nixl's getting away with a lot today.
Poor Taylor, he seems like such a nice vampire guy. He's getting robbed blind.
Yes, he's losing buttons, and the potions might be good, but
and a pincushion.
And a pincushion, yes.
They might be like inherited heirlooms. They could be close to his heart. We don't know.
After that though, I think we're not gonna push our luck.
So Taylor kind of thinks for a moment and says, "Well, do let me know what else you find out, because I would love to know. Like, imagine knowing more than chatty Dorothy uh over in the Parks District. Oh my gods! Now that woman can talk.
I think you already know more than her. I think you have the newest and freshest gossip.
Well, I do now, thanks to you.
Well, yes, indeed.
And then kind of starts putting the tea set away and says, "Well, do let me know if Fern needs an outfit."
Of course.
And and you're more than welcome to come back anytime. I loved making that dress last year. So if you come back for this year's Chamber of Commerce, I would absolutely love to try out one of my newest fashions with you.
Now, why would I go to any other tailor over you?
Oh, you flatterer.
She just kind of laughs and adds, and maybe I'll outfit my slightly as well.
Oh my goodness, yes. How is the puppy doing?
Ah, he's as adorable as always.
I would expect nothing less of him. Give him an extra treat for me.
Of course.
All right, well, I have a couple of suits that I need to finish hemming. So do come back. And if I find out anything else, you will be the first to know. Well, unless Dorothy finds out first. And if she finds out first, I am going to be so mad.
We'll be sure to keep in touch with you.
Sounds good. Toodles.
Bye.
And the piano starts playing itself again.
And then
Nixl
she'll lead the game out.
What a nice fellow.
Bye.
Bye bye.
So would that have been enough time to get parcels delivered to Larry's?
Assuming Fern was booking it, probably.
Okay. So I think one more stop would be needed then.
What are your thoughts? Where would you like to go?
What did we find out?
That it's looking like Silver Jewelries might know a little bit more about the ship's disappearance than they're letting on.
Did I hear that the crabby things were demon meat things?
Yes,
Sea devils.
Yeah, okay.
Is sea devils like common knowledge?
I go ahead and give me a nature check.
Nature? Okay. Nature. Ooh, okay. +2.
You think devils would be more resistant to fire?
Yeah. Well, they're sea devils, so they are probably more water oriented. And that is a 7 for me.
Yeah, this is the first time you've ever heard about sea devils.
Of course, the life of a baker.
Maybe they were after that pearly thing, or maybe it came from them.
It did seem like that would be what they would be after.
Perhaps.
They were making a last stand, kind of in that room looking for something.
Or maybe it came with them and it makes people devilly things.
Fidz just looks at her hands.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not carrying it. Yeah.
That was a very nice man.
Fidz kind of blushes a little bit. He is.
Pretty sharp.
Ah, yes, he does well
I
for
heard-
himself.
He said he made you a dress last year. What was the occasion?
Just a Chamber of Commerce meeting.
But it sounds like you have one of those like every few months. What was the one last year so special for?
He was there.
She's kind of like waves her hand in the direction, just like trying to keep the voices down. I guess, okay, he was there. And yes, I wanted to look nice. Those two aren't related.
Or the tailor?
Yes.
Wouldn't it be better to look nice while he's like measuring you up and like fitting you? Wouldn't that be a more intimate setting for any kind of bonding that might happen?
I had my best braids in that day. Certainly would have noticed.
You know he's an undead, right?
And?
That might make children a problem if that was something
Yes.
you're interested in.
Exactly.
Oh, trust me, slightly's enough of a child for the both of us.
Nixl's all of 3 years old and he's very worldly, that sort of thing. Well, what's next?
Well, it sounded like you had someone else in mind, didn't you?
Who?
You. Didn't you say one more? Didn't you say one more stop would do it? Isn't that what you said?
Yeah.
Oh, not yeah, you, not me.
Would it be worth it visiting the mortuary?
I think maybe eventually, but perhaps not right now when they're overwhelmed with all the people coming in.
Right.
Unless you think we could help in some way. Although I think we did plenty of helping for free on the ship, to be perfectly
What?
honest.
We found out that they're devilly things. What? We still trying to figure out is that thing? Like, what's our goal here?
I think our goal should be to figure out what the Sea Devils were after.
Oh man. Or kobold. I guess I know somebody who might do something. Maybe.
That was awful slow to be offered.
Well, it's kind of scary.
Should have bring Miss Lightly with us.
Yeah, it's It's that scary. Scarier than Sophie.
All right, that's certainly noted.
So is Nixl gonna lead everybody to
I guess
the
we're going
Rat King?
to go visit Rat Kings, but first he wants to make a stop. They can come.
Where would he like to stop?
His home.
Okay. So you lead the you lead the others down a side alley and lift up a manhole cover, slipping down into the sewers below. Despite how clean this city is, as is the case with any city, the sewers are a place of muck. The stench of all of the filth of the city assaults all of your noses. Though Nixl, to you, it's like a sweet perfume. Um,
But it's
um, um, and you all kind of do your best to follow Nixl through these sewers. And eventually, Nixl, you get to the little hidden door that leads into your little abode.
Nixl is releasing traps as you guys go. Some you see, some you don't. As he goes, he looks at you every now and then, thinking, "You're kind of big. Might have to go. Yeah, we better try this route instead, rather than making you crawl through a 2-foot pipe or something." And then he gets to his hidden hiding hole.
What is his hidey hole like?
So when you get to the hidey hole, first you go in through a door into like a little entryway thing, and then he'll touch y'all, and all the stench and yuck will disappear as he prestos, because he wants to make sure you're clean before he goes into the house. And then there's another inner door that he brings you through. And on the other side is a surprisingly homey, hobbity type cave.
This is surprisingly nice.
And it's got a little fire pit, and he it's got embers right now and stuff, but he bustles around a little bit, and you see him pull out a couple of vials that he stows safely away in a cupboard.
As Nixl pulls out these vials, Fiddah and Merrit, you both recognize the vials. They are they're potions of healing.
Oh, hey.
Can't be too careful, you know. Lots of bad things out there. He's playing as he always had them. You don't.
The wisdom of kobolds.
Yep. And that's basically, he just wanted to drop off his. He also puts a few buttons into a tray that's on top of the board. It's got a bunch of other little trinkets, like a, I think raven, a bunch of little shinies.
Where does he place the pin cushion? The object of honor.
Oh well, the object of honor, he's going to leave in his pocket, because he's not dumb enough to think you won't know where that came from. And once he's and relieved himself of his treasures, and muttering about how a ring would look really pretty just there. Damn it. Um, he's ready to go and leads you back out.
So you all continue your way through the sewers, going ever deeper. Um, as you would know, Nixl, these sewers were built on top of, like, as cities tend to do. Inoras was built on the ruins of the previous city, and the sewers are basically built from the ruins of that previous city. And as you go deeper, you're going into that previous city's sewers, which in turn was some long, like some city from ages past. Um, and the deeper you all go, um, the thicker the grime on the walls and the floors is, the more pungent the smell is as you go ever deeper. And eventually, you all come out on what at one point in time must have been some sort of courtyard, but had then been converted into a cistern. That is no longer in use as a cistern. Instead, it is a place where refuse has piled up. And all around you, you can hear the sounds of various rats and vermin down here chittering from the shadows. And you can even hear briefly the trilling sound of a soap before you hear a little squeal, and then the squelching sound of something chewing. And you all hear from up ahead. So, the vermin has finally made it down here. What is it that you want, Cold? You haven't seen fit to pay your tithes?
You know about exploding ship?
Exploding ships. Why would I interest myself in exploding ships? This is my kingdom. I don't care what happens on the surface.
Do you know anything? Sewers drain into sea, right?
Some sewers do, other sewers don't. My sewers lead ever deeper. My sewers lead to the caverns below the beaches.
Oh, great. Then do you know anything about sea devils?
Sea devils. Sea devils. Why would you want to know sea devils?
Killed a few. On ship.
Killed a few? Did you eat them?
No. Yuck.
Sea devils are good eating.
Well, there's a ship full right outside there. And he points in the general direction.
What is it that you want to know about the sea devils?
Sea devils took the ship?
Sea devils taking ships. That is strange. But if I'm to divulge what I know, you have a tithe to pay.
I don't have anything.
You said you have dead sea devils.
Well,
Those
there
are
you
good.
go. They're
Sea
yours
devils
for
are
the
good
taking.
eating.
Yours for the taking. You can have at them.
No, 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 no. They must be brought down here.
Fine. His eyes.
Only then will I tell you what I know.
Well, it's just little me. How am I going to get all the sea devils from there to here?
You have other vermin with you. I saw them walk in with you.
Yeah, I don't know where the hell they came from. They just started me.
And Fiddah and Merrit, it seems initially as if Nixl is speaking into the shadows, but as your eyes kind of adjust a bit, you can see who it is that Nixl is talking to, and it's a roiling mass of rats that are in a in the shape of a larger rat, with one particularly large rat forming essentially the head, um, peering down at the lot of you from this sort of makeshift dais that has been made from like broken pieces of cart that have managed to like float down here from the sewers. You can even see like a collection of bones and such. And as this creature thing is speaking, you can see like drool just dripping from its fangs, kind of sudsy. So you're pretty sure that's where the unfortunate soap went. Um, uh, and it kind of peers and it peers at a lot of you and says, "That is my prize."
I'm pretty sure that being a sewer, there'd be a strong methane type smell.
There is, yes.
Okay. Oh, what's he gonna do? What's he gonna do?
I feel like it was kind of rude to call us vermin, considering what we're looking at right here. Hypocrisy at its finest.
I tell you. Oh, there, that'll work. I think.
We're going to be mixing
Yeah.
fire with methane. Power of science.
Yeah, pretty much. You'd like your house, yes? He's got
My
friends now. He feels particularly brave.
my kingdom.
You wouldn't want to go boom.
And it kind of rises up a little bit. Are you threatening me, scum?
No. I'm making a promise.
And it kind of takes a step forward, and as it steps forward, you can hear the sounds of like rats squeaking. You can even hear you're pretty sure you hear a couple of them like the sounds of little bones breaking under the weight of this mass of rats, as it takes a couple of steps forward. You would challenge me in my kingdom?
I'm not looking for much for information. And he will pull out his pretty little cushion. I'll do a trade.
Shiny. Not quite edible, but I suppose that would make...
I bring you more shiny.
So you're finally going to pay your tithes?
I will trade for the information.
we'll make this more beneficial. You start paying your tithes. Pay what you owe me. I will give you that information.
How much do I owe you again? Theoretically?
You owe me for the last 3 years of your residence in the upper sewers.
Yes. And that works out to
3 years worth of provisioning.
okay. I need a number.
You start bringing things and I'll
You guy looks around. Sure, you give me the information.
No. Information upon payment.
I don't have that much for payment. I have a shiny cushion.
Then it
I have
sounds
the
like
ability to blow you to smithereens.
that is twice now that you've threatened me in my home.
No threat, just a promise.
Twice now you have promised devastation in my home.
Oh, do I know that spell? What spell is it? Oh shit, I don't have that spell. Never mind. He's backing away towards the way they came in. And he's behind his back, gesturing at you guys to start backing away.
I'll oblige, of course. I do not want to be fried like a crisp.
Fitz does as well, kind of like nudging slightly behind her.
The dog kind of whimpers and moves back with you. And the Rat King takes another step.
Nixl's like, well, I thought maybe you knew something, but I guess you don't. So we'll just leave.
You still owe me your tithes.
Sure. You can come get it at any time. Feel free. You know where I'm at.
Subjects, apprehend him.
Fireball!
And we will roll initiative at the start of next week's session.
Oh no!
Oh, boy.
Oh no!
He's wanted to get rid of that damn rat for the last 3 years.
Rumble in the sewers.
What gross imagery. Gross.
For those of you at home, thank you so much for listening in tonight. Had a blast running this, as usual. If you are interested in playing in any of my games, I do run them via startplaying.games/GM/Morgana-the-spider. There will be a link in the YouTube description down below for those of you who are watching this on YouTube. And yeah, I think the rest is for if any of you have any additional or otherwise. Well, this is your channel, Ray.
Sorry about that. I tend to escalate things.
No apologies. Go for chaos. So yeah.
Yeah, he's actually very smart, believe it or not.
Okay, so like I said, this is a weekly campaign, so we will be around fingers crossed, hopefully we'll all be around at the same time next week. We are also looking for a player 6 to join in this campaign. You know, life tends to happen to the best of us, and in this case, it's no different. So if you're wanting to get in on this next grand battle with the Rat King, please lend your expertise. But in the meantime, all the goodies, baddies, and everybody's in between had better stay safe, stay hydrated, and stay gorgeous. Like, seriously, have y'all seen yourselves recently? Just stunning. Oh my gods. Anyways, have a good night, and thanks for dropping in and listening.